Driving in the UK and Ireland for the first time can be incredibly intimidating. As an American, it can be hard to break the habits of turning right on red and trying to navigate your way through the seemingly 8-foot wide roads as you make your way throughout the country. It can be very daunting. On our most recent trip to Ireland, I drove from city to city, town to town, along country roads, on highways, so that way I could create this video to give you my tips on how to navigate driving on the left for the first time. Right off the bat, when you get your rental, you're going to want to familiarize yourself with the vehicle. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is hop on that right side of the vehicle because that's obviously where the steering wheel is. I need to find where the cruise control is, where the wiper blades are, where my lights are, where my turn signals are. Now, it's imperative to do this right away because we do not want to be doing this as you start off on the drive and the next thing you know, you're like, oh my God, where's my turn signal? You start freaking out. We need you to be focused on the road and not on trying to find something within the car. So once you finally found them all, just make sure that you test them and make sure they're working properly. So hit each turn signal each way, test each version of your lights to make sure those look good, test the speeds of your windshield wipers, and so on and so forth. Another little fun tip is you're gonna see right as you're looking through the windshield on kind of that bottom right hand corner, you're gonna see something that says keep left. And that is just your little gentle reminder that as you're driving, you're gonna be driving on the left side of the road. They know most of their rental people are gonna be people who are not used to this, so they put that there as a reminder. Once you are ready to take off, just go nice and slow at first. More than likely you're gonna be anxious, so if you have like a co-pilot, or make sure before you leave you put in your GPS points, so that way as you're driving, you can just have your focus on the road and what's going on in your surroundings, and your co-pilot or your GPS can let you know of upcoming turns and things to be aware of. Something that I found kind of helpful that I don't really see many people pointing out is I like to just follow the person ahead of me, okay? I know that on my GPS I don't have to do anything for 15 miles, so I'm just gonna take it nice and slow, follow this person as I navigate through, primarily through city roads. That way I'm not freaking out and I can stay nice and calm as I follow them. Now, obviously that can only be for short periods of time because they might turn or they might take the roundabout in a weird way, which we will get to in a little bit. But just follow them for a little bit as you go along and make sure to keep a good distance from them as well to allow for braking and such. What you will likely find is after you've been on the road for like 30 minutes, up to an hour maybe even, your confidence is starting to grow a little bit. You know how this car is going to be maneuvering, how it feels, how the brakes feel, how the road looks. All of it's going to start to becoming a little bit more natural, a little bit easier for you. However, like I said, that'll be just until you hit your first roundabout. So these can be a little bit tricky as you approach them. The common theme throughout this whole video is to just remain calm, all right? Everything's gonna be all right. So as you approach this roundabout, it should notify you on your GPS, or hopefully your co-pilot has warned you that there's an upcoming roundabout and which direction you need to take. So if you are going to be making a left-hand turn, be in the left lane. If you're gonna be going straight or you're gonna be going right, be in the right lane, and also just be sure to use your turn signals. So if you're going left, hit it left. If you're going right, hit it right. If you're going straight, don't touch anything. But this at least alerts everyone around you what the heck you are going to be doing as you approach the roundabout, thus making everyone's anxiety a little bit lower. Again, just take it easy because after you do one roundabout, all the other ones are going to seem pretty easy. It just takes a couple practice runs at it, and hopefully, you know, the roundabout itself isn't too busy. But just like a standard roundabout, make sure to kind of check what's going on around you. If there's a car that's going to be continuing on, check for their blinkers, make sure you know where they're going, and just take your time. Now, I'm assuming because you're getting a car over there in Ireland or the UK, wherever you're at, that you're probably going to be doing some highway travel. Now, a big tip when you're on highway travel is to stay in the left lane the whole time you are driving unless you are passing. The passing lane over there is on the right side, okay? And once you make your pass, get back over into the left lane because that's your standard driving lane, okay? Another little sidebar here is that the speed is in kilometers an hour. So for us Americans, it's not in miles per hour. So as you look at your speedometer and at the speed limits, just know those numbers are going to be a little bit higher, so don't let that freak you out. That's just the standard, it's just a normal speed limit, okay? Back onto the topic of the passing lane, I really like how they do this over there because I just feel like Americans love to just hog that passing lane and just sitting there and just mind their own business like nothing's going on. Once you are done passing, get out of the way, so that way if there's someone behind you that has to make the pass, they can make it without having to maneuver around whatever the heck you're trying to do. So again, props to you, Ireland. Honestly, great job. I love how you guys do it. And most of the people that I found myself behind or were passing, everyone just got right back over. It was honestly super smooth and a lot less hectic. Now, a fun little tip kind of just in general is as you are plotting out the cities or places that you want to check out as you're making your way around on your drive, be sure to allow for like pull-off points. So like, let's say for us, we were driving from Dublin down to Cork, and one area we really wanted to check out was Kilkenny. And so in that town there's a beautiful castle, and the town itself is very neat and beautiful, good places to eat. Another example in our Irish trip was going to Blarney, so that's a little pull off. You just find the exit, you take it and you go. But allow for those little moments on your drive, because there's some really cool things that you might miss out on if you don't take that little exit. Now obviously as you hop off of the highway or off of the normal city roads, you're gonna find yourself into what I describe as the country roads, which are the tricky ones. And so their anxiety is gonna build back up at this point, because as I mentioned before, this is where these roads seem like they're like 8 feet wide. It's ridiculous. So yeah, as you pull off on your exit and make your way through these country roads, just take it slow at first, because it is a lot different. There's going to be cars approaching obviously on the other side. So as you see them approach you, it's okay to slow down a little bit, maybe get a little bit closer to the hedgerows, and then continue on once that car gets past you. Where it really gets a little bit more nerve-wracking is if all of a sudden there's a charter bus, because there's lots of tourists that is making its way through. If there's like a farm vehicle that's making its way down, just slow down a little bit. Again, just get over and everything will be okay. I personally, as I approach things like kind of a sharp curve, because you can't see what's going on around that curve because of the hedgerows and trees and such, just take it a little bit slower around that curve, because there could be one of those charter buses, or there could be a farm animal that's gotten loose, who knows. So just go a little bit slower as you approach them, and once you see that it's all clear, pick up speeds again. Another thing with going a little bit slower as a tourist is the people who do actually live in these areas. They're obviously a lot more accustomed to this, so don't be surprised if there's some cars that are just blowing right by you. It's totally fine, okay? They're used to it. Just let them go, all right? And they know you're probably a tourist if you're going a little bit slower. There's even some of those cases as you approach the even more narrower roads, where it seems like maybe only one car can make its way down. There's usually little pull-off points, so just constantly be looking ahead, and if you see one of those pull-off points, know if it was behind you or if you can see one up ahead. And as you approach it, just pull off real quick, allow that car to come through, or they might pull over for you. It's a really good system, so just take it slow. You might have to back up if there's one that was behind you, but it just makes for ease of travel for both people involved in this situation. Now say you've been driving for a little while and you notice that your gas tank's getting a little low and you need to pull over for some gas, or petrol as they call it over there. Just know that the gas stations are a little bit louder. Like, it kind of caught me off guard at first. I got everything set up to, allow for me to fill up properly. I got my tank open, I pop it in, and it was loud. Like, I could not even hear myself think. I didn't know what was going on around me. It was just a lot. So don't be surprised if you pull up and you fill up with gas and you just might have to plug your ears a little bit. And a little friendly tip here, that make sure to fill up your gas before you return your rental car. We don't want to find any hidden fees, so just fill up real quick before you return it. Another little kind of sidebar is that some of these gas stations we found don't always have toilets. This is something that we often see in gas stations here, is that they do have toilets. So just be wary of that as you approach a gas station. They might not all have a toilet in there for you, so you might have to go to the next one after that. These next couple tips can be a little bit more aligned to Ireland rather than the UK. However, there are parts of it you can take into your travels there if you have a rental car. And that is going to be that driving in cities like Dublin, or the bigger cities like in England, such as Liverpool or London, obviously, Manchester, it's a lot more freakier to drive in those areas than it is some of the smaller towns, as I mentioned earlier, Kilkenny or Blarney and such. However, again, take it a little bit slower in those bigger cities. There might be people honking at you. My general tip is just to avoid driving in the bigger cities as much as you can, just because it's hard to find parking and it's just more hectic and you don't want to be making mistakes if you're under anxiety. So just try to get to where you're going, park the car, leave it there if you can find a spot, and go from there. Again, I didn't do a whole lot of city driving. However, one area that did kind of freak me out a little bit was driving along the Wild Atlantic Way. And oh my gosh, I can tell you it is wild. They have that name for a reason, so as you're making your way along the Atlantic coast there in Ireland, in areas such as the Dingle Peninsula, which is the place that we went, or even up towards the Cliffs of Moher, it can be pretty overwhelming at first. I remember as we were going towards Dingle, we were left from Cork that morning. As we approached some of these windy roads, I could just feel my blood pressure just slowly start to raise. My grip on the wheel was just super tight. So again, the common theme is once you start to feel all these anxieties start to build, just slow down a little bit, because as I said, with along like areas like the Dingle Peninsula, you're constantly just weaving along these beautiful, by the way, beautiful countryside, beautiful seaside. Just take a little bit slower. Same concepts as earlier, is there might be a bus coming around the corner, you don't see them, and you're kind of riding along the rail here, so just take it a little bit slower, be aware of your surroundings, and try your best to take in the scenery as best as you can, because it truly is magnificent. It's eye-opening. And I remember as we finally got to Dingle and I could park the dang car, I could just feel everything just relax after I finally got to park and not have to worry about driving anymore. Another couple things to remember is as you are driving, your GPS might tell you that a certain area you want to go to is about 60 miles away. Well, it might take you 2 hours to get there, just as a heads up, because of those windy roads that we discussed earlier. And usually in those areas, people are going to want to go a little bit slower. There's no like straight shot you see a lot here in America. Like if I want to go 60 miles, it's probably going to take me 60 minutes. Another thing with that GPS is feel free to plug in all the spots you want to go to. So let's say on your phone, if you have data plans that are set up when you're over there, put in all those stops you want to go to along your route. So if I was going from, again, that one day from Cork to Dingle, I made sure to include Blarney on that stop, and along with a couple other areas as we were going our way up there. Another thing to remember is that your rental car cost might go up quite a bit, because your insurance is more than likely not going to be valid when you're driving in Ireland. In the rest of areas like the UK, you should be okay. However, if you're in Ireland, your insurance is probably not going to work, so you're going to have to set up a small plan depending on the amount of days you have the vehicle. So don't be surprised if all of a sudden your $300 rental car is a heck of a lot more. Just be prepared for that. And in the discussion of costs, I have made a video myself about how to have a better budget on your trip and how to lower that a little bit to make it much cheaper for you. You can check that out right here. Otherwise, have safe travels, be careful while you're driving, and again, just take your time, all right? Everything's gonna be great. Thanks.